we finally got him to join. The technical difficulties are over. Mr. Andrew Im, Associate Art Director, here with us on today's show to talk about the Warmonger and the fashion. How are you today, sir?
I'm rotating.
Yeah, I could see that. It's pretty
my,
dramatic.
my chair is just to keep rotating.
I like it though. You get to look at us both from side to side, so it's fantastic. Okay, so the Warmongers. Of course, we spoke about the narrative. We spoke about the fight demo. We've gotten obviously the base set of Astria kind of down pat and what she looks like, and we're gonna extend that further. But before we get into all of the fashion, what makes the customization of this character a bit different, maybe this time around, since it's the first one that we're introducing since year 3?
So, something that we wanted to achieve differently from the previous years, there were 3 points that we wanted to make sure during the creation of Warmongers. First one is something that is kind of that we used to do, like the representation. These Warmongers are representation of the army or the group as a Warmonger, not only the Astria's variations. So it's kind of a continuous approach as year 3 characters, and we wanted to show each variation has some sort of a rank system, so you can kind of see some visual upgrades throughout the variation progressively. And also there's even a visual that is that looks similar to the minions, and you guys will find out when it comes down, and also to the point where it gets legendary armors. So
Nice.
this is something that we'll find out later.
Sweet.
Second point is we wanted to make a bit more traditional. Like there are a lot of voices in the Reddit that they wanted to see more traditional structure of the armor. So there is still some constraints. So there's a limit that we can make it to look quite traditional. But then that was we pushed as far as we could, and also a bit more fantastic.
So there's a spectrum, like on both sides, a little bit more traditional on one, and then after that you have the more fantastic on the other side.
Exactly. It's like For Honor character has had this boundary in designs, but like we were kind of trying to expand the boundary little by little. So
I see.
you might be able to see it in these variations. Lastly, but also very importantly, we wanted to give more options to the players. I hope that this is a personal response to many like amazing posts that we receive in the Reddits and the Twitters. Like we years of learning like kind of made our customization evolve. Like and we started with just the simple studs, adding the studs to start as a year 1. Year 3, like moving the ornament placement to the shoulder, kind of made us allow to have more freedom on the helmet design and the face mask, which is year 3 characters. But this also kind of came with the constraint that okay, we cannot put the ornament on the head. So this time we tried to solve the problem by adding extra layer on it, which we will introduce in a bit.
Nice.
Yep.
So we jump right into the armor sets now?
Yeah, sure.
Let's take a look. So this is the default set of Astria. This is the one that, players will be accustomed to from the get-go, and represents the leader, right? For the Orcos.
Yeah. So there are quite a lot of golden trims and ornamentations, and then the helmet design is very much influenced by the Apollyon, as you can see it. But it still has its own uniqueness. The main focus on this one is to give two complementary designs. Like it looks glorious, but at the same time it looks kind of corrupted, and it's attractive, also deadly, and also beautiful, but kind of dark. But I'm saying that there's two options, meaning as you can kind of see, there's a small difference from the left to right. You see there's the hair's ornamentation on the head, and the other version has the one without it. There's a one version that there's a cape on it, and some player kind of wanted to see a character without the cape. And there's a light ornamentation on the shoulder that's also removed for one other option, so people can have different choices when they are actually choosing the variations.
So it's the same thing here. Now we're seeing two different variations of this same set, where again there's maybe some subtle differences, but I'm already noticing on the kind of the neck and around the neck area, there's obviously difference in details over here. The horns or the antlers, I should say, on the right side, which are absolutely insane. But that's great, and that involves the choices for the players, correct?
Yep. And for the structure wise, it's a bit more a traditional way of dressing or wearing the armors, and slowly it's kind of going more towards the fantastic part of our of the visuals.
I see. This is really awesome.
And of course, there are two different type of. It's a very subtle on the changes, except the cape and the without the cape. But then at least we wanted to give more options to the player. That was the main goal of creating these two different variations.
This one's really, really interesting. A different pattern, and it almost looks like, you know, like friendly, but let's not forget that this is the Warmongers, so
right.
Far from that.
Just the full ride on the decoration. Like the task was like, what if we give every place as much decoration as much as possible, and that's how it came out.
Now we're getting to something really, really edgy here, really, really sick.
Yep, this one we're pushing a bit more fantasy. I don't know how it's kind of visible. That's always a question to a lot of players. It was kind of inspired by the movie Dracula, and there was nice, interesting lines on the muscle, and that was the reference on it.
Nice. So now we're coming back to the same Astria,
yep.
And from there moving into this one right here.
As for the helmet, this is one of my favorite too. It's inspired by the jousting knight. Technically, it was not possible for us to create it, but then there was a modification that we made it so it looks as much close as the realistic, not realistic, but then inspired by the jousting knight helmets.
Nice. This one is absolutely insane.
This would be the final stage of the corruption, I would say. Even the helmet design is more fantastic, and it's almost unreal.
Yeah.
This kind of design, really they existed in real life armor in medieval times. So it's not something just out of our context. Like on these sets, something that we wanted to bring was it's the level of I would say level of the corruptions. So slowly you kind of see there is the leathers and the fabric and the metal treatment. The corruption created there's some sort of worn out effects or the deformations, and the metals gets quite unique patterns, so you can kind of see it in the later variations, and the last variation that you saw it was the pick point of it.
Yes, and that's not all though. Now we're getting into the last and most legendary one. That's right, we've got the Apollyon set that's available for everyone. What can you tell us about this, and specifically how it relates to the Warmongers now?
Yes, well, we cannot say Warmongers without saying Apollyon. So this is something that we had to give it to the players.
Incredible.
We wanted to give as the mint condition. Well, like it's not the new as a new. It's still kind of worn out and old, but as original as possible. So there is a lot of like the rust and also it's something that's extra that it's applied here is. As you can see, you will be able to see the one without the cape version of it as well. So that's quite interesting experience. And also there's a nice shoulder pad, the big one. There's an asymmetric version, and then now it's kind of as a variation you can have two big shoulder pad.
Nice.
On both sides.
So the legacy of Apollyon still lives on through that armor set, and then there's variations over above on that set. So let's take a look here. This is so sick. Shiny Apollyon set here. Unreal.
Well, since we wanted to give that armor as it is from the previous one, the alternate material spot were limited for original ones. So for the variation, we opened up more possibility for players to apply more alternative materials.
Unreal. I really like this one. And again, it still keeps to the core of what Apollyon stands for, and it's different than the Warmonger set. You can really distinguish both, and that's really cool.
Exactly, and with the interesting ornaments on top of it. So
yeah. Unreal. So are you a cape guy? You a cape guy? I'm a cape guy. I'd love the cape.
Then take the cape.
Yeah, I would take the cape.
If you're not the cape guy,
you don't need to anymore.
Choose the one without it.
Clarissa, you a cape girl?
You know, it's hard to say because I watched a movie where it shows you how capes can hinder your hero activity.
The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. That's so true.
The details on this armor, though.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, well, as a design wise, the Estria kind of added extra effort to make these armors to look more decorative. So this is another one that has a more ornamentation, more engravings.
So clean.
Yep.
I love it.
Unreal.
I hope we get to see more cosplays because I know that we had a few really good Apollyon cosplays, but now with Astria being in game,
the variations now, it's gonna be insane.
I really hope.
I wonder which one will be chosen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And more variation will come in on next season's.
Nice.
Chapter. So
there you have it. This guy's a pro teaser. That's awesome. Okay, well that's a full look at all of the sets right now. Of the Warmonger. Again, we have the duality of the Astria being represented, but also Apollyon and her legacy living on through those variations. So that's super interesting. How about we go into the weapons of this character that will be complementing this as we speak. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You have to put this. You have to put this at the end. Yep. Now Warmonger's Greatsword, Flamberge. In German, there was a specific word. Do you know?
I could do a quick Google research if you would like me to.
I think it's called the Zweihand.
Oh, Zweihand. I can't pronounce it, but I know what you're talking about.
Hang on, let me get this for you guys as you guys take a look. Hang on.
I think that they both have a similar. Yeah, go ahead.
Flammenschwert?
What?
No, it's like Zweihandler.
Zwei
Zwei.
Yep.
Yeah.
What? Google has failed me? Is that what you're telling me right now? Okay, all right.
Well, getting back to the Warmonger's Blade. So this one's Warmonger's Blade introduces a bit slow transition of culture evolutions. And also, like the culture will mix by using very traditional knight hilt and the blade part that is strongly influenced by Eastern culture. I mean, the Flamberge also has this wavy blade, but then there was a very interesting one that I found it from. I think its name is a Kreese. It's a dagger, but then the wave is even more extreme, and it kind of looks like a snake.
And this one here with the black swan at the top, right? One of the symbols that you weren't able to describe at the top of the show, but that we talked about with Elise. But,
yeah, exactly.
Unreal.
Yeah. So as you can see it, like one of the unique intention for all this weapon set is it's to attract others, because as you can see, there's a lot of ornamentation, a lot of nice stuff happening. But also it's, of course, to kill when the persuasion didn't work.
Doesn't work. So you're saying that this is like a way for the Warmongers to draw people to their cause in terms of the Order of Horkos and what they believe in by kind of showing off their wealth and their style and all of that stuff.
Exactly, to get
Very
the
interesting.
attention of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's as you saw it, like pretty much most of them, but then the Black Swan represent there's a sleek and elegant type of visual. At the same time, it contains this dark, mysterious, and deadly feeling. The weapon itself has two purposes, like persuasion and kill.
And killing, yeah. I feel like killing is at the basis of every weapon, but this one's absolutely phenomenal. I'm personally a big fan of this type of stuff that's like, very unique in terms of the design.
Yeah.
Different colors that make it seem so shiny and pretty.
I really like this one. Because they look like
with
thorns
the rose.
with the vines.
Unreal.
Yeah. JK, this one's my favorite. Oh wait, this one's As
you can see, there will be a lot of it's kind of there's ambiguity between good and evil with these weapons, and people can easily get tricked by the visual, and you don't really kind of read what's behind it. There are a lot of figurative elements in these weapons. Like Black Swan was one of them. Snake, which meant as the wisdom and the evil. There is some roses. Rose meant as a beauty and the trap. There's a thorn at the bottom. So it was a pretty fun one. And again, the Chengdu team did an amazing job.
Yeah, kudos to them. Really, really beautiful. And this is a look at the full collection for the Warmongers. Again, just so many different options for everyone. And, we mentioned this at the top of the show, and this is what we'll take a look at right after this, is actually there's an event pass that's going to be going for the corruption that's coming in with the Warmongers, basically. So we'll take a look at that right after this, and we've got a video for it. So what can you tell us about these weapons?
So basically, these weapons are the one that got corrupted. So the things that we wanted to do is from the previous season, not the previous season, but the previous ones that we had it for alchemies. There were kind of red gems in each weapons, which you don't remember, okay? But there were the red gems on each weapons, which is the Dragonite. We couldn't say at the time, but then now I can kind of say it. That's the source where it gets corrupted, and visually we changed that gem into greenish colors, and that's where all the corruption spreads. So material wise, Dragonite as a dark green gem, and the metals gets rusted, the paints and the leathers gets worn out. And for the color wise, we use a lot of desaturated colors overall. Like there are cold black, toxic greens, and the rusted orange or blood red, which doesn't makes people comfortable.
Yeah, no, it's definitely off-putting. And again, like with the narrative, with the corruption that's coming with the Warmongers, I feel like you've fully represented what this means if you were to use that corruption on the weapon. And just right from the get-go, it stands exactly for that representation. It's unreal.
Oh man, those holes make me feel uncomfortable.
There's many aspects, it's a collective unconscious that makes people uncomfortable. We should have put the viewers' discretion before we actually do this one, because people might not be happy to see this one. But
man, it's menacing though. Like you like even again every time you have a big surface to play with. We saw it with the Viking. Now we're looking at the Hitakiri's weapon here, which is always a beautiful canvas for you guys to do it. And again, you guys can really explore the range of this theme fully, and that's exactly what you guys have done.
By using the treatment of rust, where now wrinkles, the textures that naturally spreads, like rust is one of them, but also it's when there's a marble, there's a kind of texture that spreads, or the root of the tree and the rose vine, that those were the great reference for us to inspire and to visually explain the corruptions.
Unreal. Now taking a look at Conqueror Shield, absolutely sick with the vines and everything. Just the corruption is so ever so present.
It's a bit more fantastic than what we used to produce.
Snake.
No
rope. Yeah, no rope.
And this is another weapon for Warmonger.
Nice.
I think this, you guys saw it in the event.
Black Prior.
We left a little hint here and there.
Unreal. Valkyrie.
Glenn?
Gladiator.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. No,
it's okay. You got hit with the mix-up.
Yeah,
because it's coming.
All this corruption has corrupted my vision here.
And we're finishing with Peacekeeper.
And now the last faction, the Wu Lin. Starting off with the Tiandi. Oh.
Oh man, those holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My trypophobia. I think that's what you call it.
Yeah, trypophobia. Yeah.
Triple?
At least also has it.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
Yep.
I get like.
There they are. Oh. Clarissa's not even looking at the camera. Man.
I saw it. I was like, oh, that's great. No, but it's really good because like I mean, it's very subtle. It's not like you're trying to impose that, but it goes along with the theme of discomfort because it's corruption and icky and it's like so.
But it represents this like historic moment in the For Honor kind of chapter here with the what's going on like live. This is the collection, and this is a perfect way to kind of end this segment in the sense that this is the collection, part of the event pass. There's no game mode that's related to this event pass. It's just to celebrate the launch of the hero starting August 6th.